right. Good
Hi.
morning. Good morning. I'm getting so much better. I'm just gonna pat myself on the back for a second.
I could just watch those guys dancing all day. I think
I know, right?
Brilliant.
Every morning.
I'm getting so much better at clicking off each one of those video cues to get it all done so smoothly. I'm like, yes, I nailed it today. I was like, yes, little celebration. High fiving me.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so excited. But yeah, those guys dancing, I love that. Now I'm a little biased because Glenn, I don't know if you know this or not, but I did that music.
I was going to ask you. I know you're a musician. I know you play the guitar and stuff. But did you wrote that music?
I composed it. Yes, I'll say I composed it.
Well, you wrote
because
it. Same thing, is it?
Because technically yes and no. Because
okay.
I can't play guitar anymore because of the loss of use of my hand. Right.
Will you get that back?
Hopefully.
Right.
But it might be a while. But I have discovered that I have the tendency that when I buy a new piece of software, I just get it all the little bells and whistles for it,
Right.
whether I need it or not. Right. So I've got some synth stuff that recently I've been messing with, but I've learned I discovered samples,
Right.
and so I was able to sample different clips.
So you didn't write it then or compose it. You stole it.
No, I purchased.
Oh, right. Okay.
It was purchased. I own those clips.
Oh,
I have the right. I have the
good.
rights to rearrange them
Right.
into whatever song I want.
Okay.
I did make the beat myself. I did make the beat myself.
I believe you. I think
made
that's
all that,
fantastic. It's
and then
great.
I found all the little pieces and.
He's a musical
composed
editor.
them.
He's the musical Brian K. Morris. You know?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
But
Luke, before you go on, something else I wanted to ask you. Did you do that music at the beginning of the show?
Thank you for asking.
It's a
Glenn.
joke.
No, thank you for asking, Glenn. Yes, I did.
I was doing the Brian Morris on you because
I know,
you must have seen it every 5 seconds.
Every 5 seconds. Yeah. But I do appreciate you asking because I did do the music at the beginning.
It's a great piece of music.
Yeah,
I wish I could. I've been trying to play the guitar now for about 3,000 years, and I still can't do it. But there was a bit. I started when I was 16, and I gave it up for 50 years, and still can't do it.
Well, the truth is, I used to be really humble about what I could do on guitar. Now that I can't do it, I don't have to be humble anymore. I could do all of that stuff and then some. I was quite accomplished at that instrument. It was I'd been playing it for, let me see, I started when I was 12 and 42 now. 30 years. I was playing guitar for 30 years. This year would be 30 years.
Wow.
So so I was pretty good at it, but hopefully that comes back. But the reason why I'm so excited about that piece, because I was able to make music that I wanted to make without being able to play. So at least I still have that creative outlet, which I think is pretty.
The scary thing there is the fact that apart from this past couple of years when I picked up my guitar again, I didn't play the guitar or try longer than you've been alive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You were dating yourself, my friend.
Well, I'm not ashamed. I'm 67. So,
and you look good, and you look good for. I hope I look half as good as you at 67.
Oh, thank you.
I know, right?
I look like my mum. My mum was a beautiful. I'm not saying I am, but my mum was beautiful. She was absolutely gorgeous, man. Right until she died when she was 80. So she looked fantastic. When she was 80, if you said to her how old am I, you'd say 65.
Oh wow,
she looked fantastic. But anyway, that's the difference.
Well, we think you're pretty, Glenn. But
thank you very much.
Not only that, Glenn brings up a bit of class. He classes up the joint.
Yes.
I know when he's here.
Absolutely. That's for sure.
I realize my buddy Nick is down there. There we go. Woo.
There we go. Now we're set. I figured it was make Mike feel good day, and I am feeling good. I'm feeling great.
Yeah, but I'm feeling good today. It's been a interesting week, a couple of weeks for me, but hey, I'm feeling good about things. And if you're watching this morning from the Luke Stone Studios page, I've been working with a lady named Judy. I can't pronounce her last name. She resides in the Philippines, but I think her last name is like Italian or something. But I won't even attempt to say her last name because I will. It's just on the checks that I sent. That's what it is. It's on
those right.
So yeah, so I met this lady. She's a YouTube promoter, and she has, you know, I'm working with her to help promote my YouTube. So if you are on the, she's done a lot of work, and if you're looking at the Luke Stone Studios YouTube today, you may notice that down there next to the comments, which I hope you're using this morning, I see some comments popping up, and we'll get to those shortly. But make sure you're commenting today. But you'll notice a little dollar sign, which means you can now super chat. Thank you, Judy, for putting in that hard work. Now I've got to put in the hard work. She's been coaching me on content, so you may notice I've been posting a lot more content to my channel. I'm like, this is hard.
Well done, though. That is a feat.
Yeah, it really is. And
doing is easy.
I really admire the people that are able to do that on their own, but I just don't have the energy to do it on my own, I guess.
When you play the guitar, there's a guy Helen and I watch every now and again. He's called Rick Beato. Have you heard of him?
I have,
on YouTube, and he's a really good musician. He plays drums, he plays guitar, bass, keyboards. He does the whole thing. But I was talking to Helen about this, and he'll play. Well, he doesn't play "Stairway to Heaven" Led Zeppelin because it gets closed down. But he plays 2 seconds of it. You know, that introduction and all that kind of thing. Well, and he plays other things, and he's really good. And he plays. I'm getting to the point in a minute. He plays the tracks, and he'll play the guitar solo, the guitar part for you. And he. The difference between Rick Beato, now don't get me wrong, he's a fantastic guitar player. I wish I could play half as well as he does. But the difference is like, as far as I know, he doesn't write music. So he's really good at copying what you've done. So he's really good at copying Jimi Hendrix or Jimmy Page or whatever. But he doesn't, the difference is that he doesn't actually write the piece. Do you understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. Now, he's always going on about sus diminished seventh G's and all this stuff, and I know what a G chord and an F chord, and I know the basic chords, but I don't know what those things are.
Oh yeah, they're just different variations of the chords.
Yes, I know. But what he does, can you do? This is the question. Can you do this? Because I'm really impressed by this kind of thing. Where, because a friend of mine is a musician, and he can do this. I can play a chord, and he knows what it is by the sound, but which isn't that difficult on your basic chords. But when you're playing sus fifth G Fs, you know, all this stuff going up and down, he knows what those are as well. And that's what this Rick Beato guy does. And when he plays a track, he tells you, you know, sus diminished, and it tells you what it. And I think that's incredible.
I'm not. My ear's not that good, but it's pretty good. I can get within, I can tell if it's diminished or an augmented.
So you can hear a piece of music.
Yeah, I can understand.
And then play it.
Yeah, and I can tell if the chord's been inverted or not. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I can usually tell I had to learn Nashville chording, which if you're familiar with that, it's a numbering system where your root chord or your key is number 1, and then all the chords in that progression would be, music theory wise, would be given a number. Right. And so that way, it always changes no matter what the progression always stays the same, but the chord will change based on whatever key you decide to play it in. So I had to learn that. Yeah.
Luke, I hate to interrupt, but in the chats from Agent Zero Comics, you got your first super chat, sir.
I got a super chat. Did. We got to do the super chat.
So I just wanted to.
I got to get down there. We can't. Yeah. Now I've got to pay attention to the super chats. Thank you, Agent Zero. Congrats on getting monetized. Here's to many more super chats. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it very, very much. It's a great blessing to be working with you. He has got a fun story that we're working on. We talked last night until my power went out about I'm actually his artist for a project. Now that's something you don't see a lot of now, isn't it? like me working on somebody else's, being the artist for somebody else's project. That tells you what I think about it, because
what are you doing, Nick? Sorry, Luke.
I was wondering the same thing. I'm trying
adjusting the third wall.
All right.
Why don't you think
my bricks were looking wrinkled, and I thought, you know what, they do look a little withered today, so
sorry, Luke, carry on. Just ignore him while he's jousting with his background.
Well, it's object I have.
Jousting. So, all right, Nick, how was your week? What's been going on in the world of Nick besides jousting with your background?
My week's been pretty exciting. We went from 38 degrees at night one night to 95. Wow. So that was a bit of a jump. I've been manically putting air conditioners in.
It's never been that hot here.
Oh, yeah.
Even when the world started, it wasn't that hot. Sorry, Nick, go on. I'll shut up.
I love it.
I didn't expect that either. It kind of hit hard. I've been working really hard on Telepathic Bunny and Buddy Lord's project. They gave me a page of notes, and I'm somewhere around 15 of pulling things together, and I'm hoping to really deep dive that. That's nice. Exciting. I'm gathering things for my channel, the Historical Fencing Guild, at least that one. I want to redo a large part of my backyard to make it more compatible for sword fighting, so I'm going to lay down fabric and mulch, and I've been basically saving up my Patreon to be able to afford to do that. But they keep raising the prices dramatically because apparently 8% anyway, the 8% rise is enough to make 300% prices. I don't quite get how that works. I mean, inflation sucks, but going straight over. Thank you, Pedro.
Yes, gotta hit that. The price of bacon
for Amazon stuff. Yes, every week it's really hard to get that live stream set up perfectly identical. You know, but that's part of why Luke signed me on, because I'm anal about such things. So get it all lined up, get the camera angle perfect. Yes, that is a weekly live stream. It is not pre-recorded. I know it looks identical. I work hard to keep it that way.
Yeah.
Lie. That's a joke.
Yeah. But, I just want to say this to Pedro real quick. Absolutely. In fact, what I'm thinking of doing to add more content is do a weekly or bi-weekly show where we get together and just talk about music. We talk about
new content.
We pick a new band or a new piece of music every week to talk about.
As long as you don't start talking about suspended diminished, I'll turn it off then, because I don't understand anything.
Oh, I won't do that to you. I promise. No, I am
really
obviously I'm a big fan of Queen, so I'd like to talk about Queen.
Oh man!
But I think when you're talking about great musicians in the world, you can't not talk about Prince.
Oh yes,
agreed. Yeah.
I mean, bar none. I mean, who was better than him? I can't think of anybody that was better than him. He wrote and played all of his own stuff.
I can think of one person that, in my opinion, is better than Prince, and that would be Stevie Wonder.
Okay, I'll give you Stevie Wonder is good, right?
Yeah. Because
Prince never worked with another writer. He wrote his own stuff, and he played and recorded most of his own parts.
Yeah.
Stevie
undeniable.
Is fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. But he couldn't read music.
He couldn't.
He couldn't read music.
He couldn't read music.
Wow. Wow. Luke is surfing. How many times can I get canceled for one comment? Just slow turn.
I'm sorry.
There is something I'm very stupidly excited about because it made me laugh.
That was one of the lowest things I've ever heard.
Shame, Luke. You see, right. he announces by end of the year he's not going to be a formal pastor, and Luke's dark side right out. Straight up shady. I'm telling you, the pork pie is getting to you, man. The pork pie is getting.
I'm actually Breaking Bad. I'm starting to produce fan art.
Bacon Bad.
I know Bacon Bad.
I'm Bacon Bad. Just call me Eisnerberg. Anyway, Nick, what were you saying? We digress.
Okay.
We digress.
I found out that today is the 17th anniversary of one of the most important stupid things ever to happen in geek culture. Today is the 17th anniversary of Leroy Jenkins charging into that dungeon.
Oh,
nice. And I saw that. I'm like, Leroy Jenkins.
17 years.
Let
Leroy is my spirit animal.
Jenkins
oh my God, yes.
Just absorb into you on this beautiful Thursday morning or Thursday, whatever it is, wherever you are, and just go out and do something you don't think you could do out of sheer spite.
Yes.
Like
charge into your day, bacon flying.
Yes.
I'll tell you what I did that I didn't think I would be able to do. I might be able to rescue this. I'm not sure. I actually conspired yesterday to destroy a piece of my artwork. Do you want to see it?
Yes.
Sure.
Now
I messed it up. Big time, but I'm hoping I can save it. Now, I'll show you. I'll just give you a little thing. You know, my character Hatch lives on an asteroid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
it's around. It's in space, right? So I drew the asteroid, and then I wanted to do the space, and I just went way wrong.
Oh my!
What's wrong with that? I dig it.
It's awful.
I absolutely dig it.
I've not finished it yet, obviously, because there's a lot of white.
No, but I see where you're going with it, and I absolutely love it. Don't go bold. I'm an old Babylon.
I'm telling you, it's not as bad as you think it is, brother.
It is. It's actually
it's not.
It's nothing like what I had in my
I
head.
guarantee there are people watching right now be like, I wish I could do that. It's kind of like that guitar player.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I could
well, maybe so. But anyway, I'll save it. I've got Helen on it as well. She's great. She's an artist as well, so she's going to do some. She's going to. I tried to work on it this morning, but I had to stop because I was just continuing the.
It looks like a work. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
From an artist's eye, it does look like a work in progress.
Right.
But it doesn't look messed up from my perspective.
Right.
It looks like you have some things to do to it, obviously.
I've got a lot to do with it. Well, thank you anyway. I will keep at it.
Yeah. I think what it is, it's in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take the distance. Take it easy. Work on another piece. Focus on something else. You come back to it later.
Yep.
Usually, you're going to be like, you know what? So that's what's wrong.
Yeah. Or you'll be like, oh wait, that's why I had trouble with this. It needs to be this, and some other thing will happen.
What I did was a couple of years ago. You might have seen it. A couple of years ago, I wrote a book called 8 Seconds, which was about my dad's experience on D-Day. He was a paratrooper on D-Day.
Oh wow!
And you'll have seen this drawing, Mike. You know where the red flash with the brain gun where he's firing the gun. Yeah. You've probably seen that. What happened was I spent 2 days doing this drawing of this paratrooper, which is effectively my dad, firing his brain gun. A brain gun's like what's the equivalent in America? A Browning, a BAR, a BAR,
okay. A bar.
That standard light machine gun.
Big,
but the brain gun you'll have seen has a curved magazine on top.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, that's our BAR, right? So anyway, he's fired. My dad had, that was his job. He had a brain gun. He was a brain gun firer, shooter, whatever you call it. And I spent 2 days drawing effectively him. I wish I could get it, but it's buried somewhere. And then I coloured it, and I messed it up. I really messed it up, and 2 days I was so disgusted with myself because the drawing wasn't working. So I decided to colour it. So I just threw a load of colour in, and I thought, what have I done? This is a waste of 3 days of my life, and I'm going to have to do this drawing again. So I put it away, and I didn't look at it for a week. And when I got it out, it's the best illustration in the book.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
it's absolute. Even though I say it myself, it's the best one in the book. In fact, I'm going to show you. I'll go off for a second, then I'll come back. So
while you're off, we'll talk with Mike. Mike, how was your week? How's things going?
Well, slow. Mostly. 2 days ago, my old roomie came by and she put together my new system, and then it was finally put together.
I noticed. Let's show this off for a second here. Look how clean and
smooth
baby.
I am
the feed from Mike Jimmy is.
Oh yeah, No, I am so happy with this machine. But yeah, they put it together for me. And then I started installing Windows. And I kept getting the same error over and over and over and over again. So yesterday, at around 7 p.m. in the evening, we realized that the SSD that we ordered for it is incompatible with this motherboard.
Oh.
So, okay.
You know who don't have problems like that? Mac users. We don't have any problems like that.
Oh no, because everything is pre-built, and this is a custom system.
Yeah, I'm just saying. That's all
I agree. Apple has its pros.
I got beef with Apple. I got big beef with Apple. We're gonna have spicy bacon if I talk, so I'm just gonna have something.
Look, Apple has its pros. I am not an Apple user. I will
I'll be honest with you. Yeah, Apple does have its pros. They're users. Oh man, I'm on a roll today. I'm on a roll today, aren't I?
That's what you call it, yeah. Right, I'll show you this piece of artwork. Right? This piece of artwork. I messed up the drawing, was really angry, threw a load of ink on it, thought, what have I done? And it turned out to be the best illustration of the book, and here it is. This is my dad firing his Bren gun at 4:00 in the morning on D-Day.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I love that.
Oh wow! Yeah,
just
that looks fantastic.
See, the drawing's not finished.
Yeah, but
no, it's great.
I messed it up, but I just threw it.
I like how it looks. Man, the color you've got, that's great, man.
Yeah,
but that fits the mood. That fits the mood of D-Day. I feel like.
Yeah,
very good.
And I because my dad's a PTSD vet, and I associate with a lot of them. That fits the image of a memory where parts are razor sharp focus and parts are just faded away because they weren't, that's the way your mind works. You don't really store a lot of background images. So that should be framed. I'm not kidding.
That's really good.
I think it should be sold.
I think you could sell it. Yeah, I think you easily could sell that.
I really think, honestly, that.
Wait until my paycheck, please.
Yeah.
Payrolls around on Friday.
My Indiana Jones came out. It belongs in the museum.
While we're at it, here's the cover.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
That is incredible.
Yeah,
work.
You are one hell of an artist.
Thank you. And Helen did the back. Helen did the clouds for me, the sky. How good is that?
Yeah,
because I was really worried that I was going to mess it up, so she did it for me.
And that's still colored inks or watercolors?
Yeah, it's all colored ink.
Wow.
All right, so here we go. Let's start saying hi to our folks in the chat. Again, this show would not be what it is without our guests. And so, Mike Jimmy in with some bacon. Agent Zero is here. Agent Zero was the first one. Oh, that's another great one. Let's.
Oh wow!
Beautiful.
Welcome to Storytime with Glenn.
Your work is great. Your work is fantastic.
Thank you. Now, just to finish off this, Helen said I should color this, and I said no. I'm not going to mess this one up.
Here's what you should do. You should make a copy of that.
Yeah,
color the copy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you should do. That's what I would do. I would go get a print of it and then color the print.
Yeah.
That way you've got your original inks.
As much as I love digital media, Glenn just showed the greatest limitation of digital media.
Yeah.
Because with digital media, I love the undo button. I think everybody who loves it loves the undo button more than anything else in digital media.
I do, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta wonder how many masterpieces have been, destroyed because the artist, we're a temperamental lot, and we don't see our own worth as a law. It's almost necessary to be an artist if you're any good. If the artist always thinks they're great,
that's my undo button.
Yes.
The eraser.
I use the exact. my white rub erasers, because I do all my pencils and ink manually, and then
that's getting a lot of use, that undo button.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget that was about not square, and that's about 10 years worth of erasing. So I'm going to be really arrogant now. You've got to get your line right first.
10 years.
Yeah.
Man, this is half a year old. So my pen display broke. So
excellent.
Yeah.
So guess who has to undo more than
this show is going to be let's see your rubbers, guys, because we call them rubbers.
Oh yeah.
Rubbers, yes.
Oh lordy.
Are you familiar, Glenn, with the expression "keep your pecker up"?
Yes.
Right. So the first time I heard that, I snickered, which I know many of our American viewers right now.
A friend
in the comments are snickering.
A friend of mine who actually filmed me at Kirby's house, Bob. He was American. He's dead now, but he was American, and he came over here to England. And somebody he was telling me about his daughter or something, and he said she's been really, really upset these past few. Something had happened, and we're just talking, and I said, "Oh, we'll just tell her to keep her pecker up." And he went, "What?"
For those who don't know, it's the same as keep your chin up.
Yeah.
Keep your chin up. Yeah.
At the same people, Bob and Suzanne, who took me out to Kirby's, we went to stay with them in the 80s, and we went to see the Spruce Goose in California. You know, the huge plane that Howard Hughes flew once. Have you seen that one? It's the biggest plane ever made. It's you won't believe it. It's bigger than 2 jumbo jets. This thing. It's absolutely incredible. And he only flew it once. But anyway, my stepdaughter, my partner at the time, had a little girl, my stepdaughter, and Lisa was about 7, and she used to collect erasers. I'll use the right word. Well, not the right word, but the word you will know. She used to collect erasers, and she had on Mickey Mouse erasers. She'd been to Disney and all these things. And this is what she did as a kid. Now, we call erasers in England, rubbers. We call them rubbers.
Because you rub out.
That's right.
Rubbers.
Yeah. So we go to California. We go to see the Spruce Goose. We saw the Queen Mary. We see the Spruce Goose. And there's all this merchandise. And my ex-partner went to the girl and said to me, "Excuse me, have you got any rubbers with the Spruce Goose on?" And this girl was about 17, and she's like, and I said, "She means erasers." She went, "Oh." And I had to explain to my partner that in America, rubbers are something else.
Yeah, cigarettes are called something else. There's
that's the other thing about John Lennon. Elvis Presley apparently thought John Lennon was gay because when the Beatles came over, John said to the security guard, "Can you go and get me some fags?" Now we call cigarettes fags here. Yes. Now I know what that means over there, but so the security guard.
We're not allowed to say that anymore here. We get canceled for that.
Well,
but you're talking about cigarettes.
Yes. But this guy told his friend who worked for the security people who worked for Elvis, and told Elvis, and Elvis Presley thought that John Lennon was gay because he has to get some
fags.
Separated by common language.
I know, right? Yeah, we both speak English, but not the same English. Yeah. So Agent Zero was the first one here. Says plenty of room, plenty seating in the front. Thank you again, Agent Zero, for being here. We got Hojo. Hojo thought he was head of the game. Turns out he was not. Hojo, you're gonna have to try a little harder next week. We got Nita, Raging 2 Network here. Morning, nerds. Morning. All right, we've got Wire Dude 76 waving today. Welcome, Wire Dude 76. Great to have you here. Welcome to the Bacon Nation. We've got Hojo. Welcome there. We've got Ollie from 656. Hey. Oliver, great comic book creator, amazing dude. Good morning. And Ollie's going to be on soon. They're launching next month. They're a book, and so we're going to have Ollie on, and we're going to have fun that day. We're going to have a good time because
there we go.
Every time I've seen Ollie on a stream, it's been a party, and so we're going to have a party that day. All right. More good mornings back and forth. Just over 2 weeks left. Back hybrids, Killingfield. Thank you, Hojo. Yes. Nita's excited to see Glenn this morning. We're all excited to see Glenn.
Oh yeah.
Always. Always higher. We got Critical Blast. RJ is in the house today. I bought our jingle, and UMG still tries to claim it every night on Facebook. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
If you need a jingle, I don't do the vocal stuff, but I do the music stuff.
A friend
I
of
will
mine
create you something from scratch.
A friend of mine is English, but he lives in Ohio. He writes and plays music, and I was making some little mini film about one of my trips or something. So I asked him if I could use a piece of his music, and he said yeah. So he sent me a letter saying I was allowed to use any of his music on anything I wanted. Right. So I put this music on and got taken down by YouTube for a copyright infringement. So he rang. So basically, my friend's publisher disputed him.
The copyright claim for you.
Nice. Which is like Paul McCartney saying, yes, you can use this, but EMI don't let you, or whatever it is. Dick James music, whatever it is, don't let you use it.
Yeah, you got permission from the artist.
Yeah.
Past Master Dan is here, and he says it is the accent when we're talking about how much we like having Glenn here. Yeah, I love the accent. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Loathing Facebook, Raging 2, of course. I spend more time on the Twitterverse than I do Facebook these days.
I don't do Twitter too much.
Pedro Eng is here. We already took a super chat from him. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. Yes, nice to have Pedro here today.
I'm trying to send Pedro some animation business because I've seen a lot of his work, and it's really impressive.
Pedro is good.
I really encourage you to reach out to Pedro, because if he can't do it, he knows somebody who can.
Exactly. Pedro is. In fact, I'm going to be working with Pedro myself as soon as resources allow. 24 Eyes, Outcast Owls Live is with us this morning. Hello. Welcome and hail. We got Nick Rocks are looking wrinkled.
Yeah, that would be what I was trying.
That's why you're trying to fix it. Okay. We got Johnny Cage here today. Yay, money. Yes, yay, money. Johnny Cage, by the way, is a fantastic illustrator. He's a fantastic artist. Yes. If he's open for commissions, let him know in the comments if you're open for commissions, Johnny. He's worth hiring. I've seen a couple of things he's produced lately, and it's blowing my mind. Like, I didn't realize he was that good. Like, I knew he was good, but it's like he's practiced while I was asleep. Like, he did something. He's got something going.
One thing I'm seeing in this group you guys travel in the circles, so much better, genuinely better anatomical art, like the realism, and it's just not there in the mainstream. Like the line work I've been watching consistently, and I love like niche art. I love anime art where it's a distinct style. But seeing stuff like Glenn put out when he held up that picture was so awe-inspiring because it's been so long since you looked at an illustration and it looked like a real person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like to think that we.
Thank you, Nate.
I like to think that we travel in a circle of people in our community here that it's quality, good writers, good creators, good artists, that it's a step above the average. I hope the people who watch this look into the people in our comments.
Yes.
Because if you aren't, I know we're here, we're trying to make the mornings fun and stuff, and we're talking about whatever we're talking about. But you see the stuff that Glenn puts out. If you go his stuff with Hatch, look at this.
That is some good perspective.
That is amazing. Even with this piece is more stylized than some of the other ones you showed. It's great. I love it.
I look at let's be honest, Johnny Cage draws very attractive women in a very attractive fashion.
Yes, he does. In fact, if he's up for commissions, I'm about to hire him to draw.
Like character design is fundamentally great. And I look at that and then I see like what's been coming out of like Marvel especially, and it saddens me because I feel like a lot of people are resting on their laurels And a lot of the better comic book artists just aren't being hired. I don't know if it's they don't want to pay the money that they're worth or what's happening, but it seems like we're in this phase out period where the guys who can really draw are just passed over. And
I talk to Daniel HDR pretty regularly, who is an amazing artist who's been doing work for DC and Marvel for 20, 25 years.
Yes.
He got laid off. 2020 started, got laid off. That was the first DC cut. And there's no work coming back. He's just doing indie work right now because nobody in the higher ups wants to hire him because he's worth his money.
I will say my friend Nitho Diaz, who actually did a couple of pieces of art, one of the covers for the current campaign that we're running right now, which, back hybrids, Killing Field 1 through 3 today. I've got 2 weeks left.
Hashtag always front.
Hashtag.
There you go. I got you. Here we go.
Yeah. Hashtag back my book. Anyway, he just got a job for Marvel, and he's going to be on Thunderbolts number 3.
Cool.
Thunderbolts number 3 is the book he's on. So that'll go into my pull list. But he's a fantastic artist. So I'm glad he's gotten a chance over there. But we got Frog G in the chat. Thank you, Frog G, for being here. We appreciate you very much.
And Frog's been doing what he always does, pretty much every stream.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody needs to make it big and just throw a vast sum of karma money at Frog.
Frog G, make sure you put in your sign up. He's got a book coming out. Looks sexy. I'm telling you, it's going to be a good book because you know what? Frog G knows. Look at where he hangs. Yeah. He's around quality all the time, so he knows what quality is.
You were saying about drawing before. It's a cliche. Yeah. It's a cliche, but people should learn. Learn. You got to have some kind of talent. I don't think that practice makes you. Because I'd be Jack Kirby now, But I think it's a cliche, but you've got to draw from life because one of the hardest things to draw is a person. It's easy to drop a Superman costume on it.
Yeah.
But if what's underneath isn't working, and I had this discussion a long, long time ago with this guy, and he said to me that Jack Kirby did not know anything about anatomy. And I said, "Are you joking? That guy knows everything about anatomy, but he just exaggerates it all and he twists it all, but it works."
Here's the thing: you can't break the rules until you know them.
Exactly.
Wow, you beat me to it, Luke. Like,
that's it.
In Kirby's case, he wrote the rule, didn't he?
Well, yes.
Well, maybe not, but you understand what I mean. But if you look at, is it Hal Foster who draws Prince Valiant?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the 30s, he was Kirby, one of Kirby's favorites. And look at the difference in the style, because Hal Foster's more like George Perez, isn't it, with perfect anatomy, real people. Jack Kirby doesn't draw real people; he draws exaggerate. He draws power and energy, doesn't he? But when he was a boy, Jack was looking at Hal Foster.
Yeah.
So,
people have lost. There is a disconnect between comic art and fine art, and I don't have that disconnect. I really don't. So if you want to improve your comic book art, go look up Michelangelo's sketches. I know I'm being a history geek here, but if you want really the great, because I've been trying to improve my stuff and I'm looking for references and stuff, and I realized I was thinking in the wrong angle. Because if you look at like a comic book artist, even Jack Kirby, love Jack Kirby, but if all you do is study Jack Kirby's work, the best you're going to be is a knockoff Jack Kirby.
Yeah,
you have to go diverse, and you have to study a lot of things.
Well, the thing about fine art is that it's a self-contained loop where comics. You have more freedom. There is no wrong way to do it.
Right.
But know your basics. If you're talking about very old famous painters, they knew their basics. Maybe except for Van Gogh, but nonetheless,
no. You're not wrong.
Right. You're right.
No,
Van Gogh's greatest thing for me was his color.
Oh yeah.
His drawing is terrible.
Yeah, his drawing.
It is. It's all out of perspective. It's not very good, but he's a fantastic. He'd be a good colorist, wouldn't he, on a comic book?
Yeah.
Man,
he really got like these concepts of color and imagination. Wow, so creative. The things he did with color. I love. Now you called him Van Gogh.
Yeah.
I hear most people call him Van Gogh.
Literally, okay, as a Dutchman, and it irks me that I hear all the translations. It's Van Gogh.
Van Gogh. Okay, because the G would make a "h" sound as a Dutchman.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's a hard G.
Van Gogh. Okay, well here in America we call him Van Gogh, and when I call him Van Gogh or Van Ho or whatever, they all look at me like I'm an idiot. Here's the other thing. We pronounce it zebra here. It's not zebra. We don't call someone zebra. It's zebra.
Yeah.
It's zebra.
But you say, but Americans say Z, don't they?
Yes.
Z.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Is that what you just said, Nick?
Well, it's like this. So, I know a lady named Debra, and that's Deborah. We don't call her Debra.
Yeah.
So it's zebra. It's zebra, and everyone, they're like, no, that's not right. I'm like, in Africa, where these things are from, they call it a zebra. So guess what? Who's wrong and who's right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like this thing. I eat bananas a certain way. I will hold the stem at the bottom and grab the button and peel down and use the stem as a handle.
Yeah.
Why do I do that? I saw a monkey do it.
It's also smarter.
It's the best way.
Yeah.
So if nature did it, then
no, it's arguing.
I've seen somebody get a banana and split it down and I think, what are you doing? And get the hand in it, and it's all mush and messed up. But if you peel it, it's just this lovely thing, isn't it?
They're just driving me crazy. They're driving me crazy. Okay.
I tell you.
Back to comments.
Yeah, Brian Morris. Brian Morris, our friend Brian Morris, who we all love and love. He's always pointing out that I keep spelling things wrong because I put a U in colour. Well, we were here first, so you decided to do one across the sea.
No.
So
No. Glenn, I'm going to interject right there. The U came from students in the early 1900s because they didn't want to talk American. They didn't talk. They wanted to be more sophisticated than American English.
So there was no. So the French, it comes from the French word.
No.
Does it not? No. Okay.
No, it's literally.
I love this conversation. I really do.
Love this. I love this.
But
we are diverging so hard.
I don't care.
Anyway, Brian Morris is still wrong because Brian Morris is always wrong.
even though he's a fantastic editor. All right. Yeah, your boy Hojo says yes. I would love.
And he has a sense of humor.
Well, be prepared for a conversation about that happening.
Yeah.
And this comment is very old at this point, but it's the vibe of the whole show so far. It's a barbershop fight. Love it. Who's better?
Well, look at Pedro. He says his name is Pedro. I would say Pedro, but I would say Pedro from now on because that's his name and he's from Panama or wherever it is he's from. So he should know his own name. Like a lot of people, for all my life, my bane of my life, is that a lot of people call me Glyn with a Y.
What?
Now, it's not, it's Glenn, because they're stupid and they don't like me or whatever, but they call me Glyn, right? And I think, how dumb are you? Because it's just as easy to say Glenn and get it right.
Are they Welsh?
No,
I'm always concerned.
They're stupid.
I'm always concerned that I'm going to spell your name wrong.
So one of them's name is Glenn.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. It's got two N's, my name.
Yeah.
Glenn Campbell has one N, and that's his name. That's fine, but I have two.
Fleming also confuses me because Fleming can be spelled with one M or two M's. So I have to remember. Yeah, I'm like, is Glenn one N and two M's or two N's and one M?
Two N's and one M.
But I always have to try to remember. I'm like,
anybody who spells Glenn with one N and Fleming with two M's has got it wrong.
Well, okay.
They do. Yeah, no.
So, but they do.
Gauntlet drop. I'm telling you.
I got in trouble at school. We used to have the art teacher was called Mrs. Mather, right? Mather, Mather. And she used and the only person in the class who could draw was me. Nobody else could draw. Nobody liked drawing. Nobody wanted to do it. But I liked drawing. And she used to accuse me of copying stuff. I was only 12. I probably was copying it. But so what? I wasn't tracing it. I was copying it. So there's a difference. Anyway, I told my dad, she used to really piss me off because she used to call me Glyn all the time. Glyn this and Glyn that. You're not very good and put me down all the time. So I told my dad sort of laughing. I can see him laughing now, but he said, well, what do you want to do about it? I'm 12. What can you do? I know today that you could probably sue a teacher for that for $3 million, but this is
like, I want a drop kicker. What else?
Yeah, this is where
an option.
I said 12. What do you want me to do?
I said to him, I want to say her name wrong. So he said, well, do that. See what she does. So I went to school, went to the class, and I called her Mrs. Mither. And she went ballistic. And I said, she said, why are you calling me Mither? My name's Mather. I said, my name's Glenn. So she sent me to the head. And in those days, you got the cane.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't get the cane. I went to because I wasn't the kid who was fighting or in trouble or smoking. I just I was either drawing or reading the Fantastic Four when I was at school. That's that, and everybody knew that. Reading Spider-Man, everybody knew that. So I'm outside the head's office, and he said to me, "What are you doing here?" Because I was the last person he was expecting to see. You know, 3 of the guys who used to have fights all day, they were always outside his office. So he took me into his office, and I told him, and he said, "Oh, forget it, just forget it." And anyway, the next week, I called him Mrs. Mither again. I'm outside the head's office, right? And he said, "What are you doing here?" So I told him again. He said, "Look, if she sends you up to my office again, sit in the library. Don't bother me. Just get a book and sit in the library," which he could see from his office. So the next week, I'm in the library, and he was walking down the corridor, and he looked and he saw me, and then just shook his head and went in his office.
Nice.
You see, I was the kid that always got in trouble.
Right.
I've got stories, and they're not for today. I'm telling you. Johnny K says, "Look, see the lines and go." I maybe says, "Look, I don't know." It says, "What if I went over them?" Yeah.
You can if you want.
Agent Zero says Prince always wrote fabulous songs like Manic Monday for the Bangles. He did. He was a fantastic artist. And I think, music appreciation is something that we do at my house with our kids. They're homeschooled, so I make sure that we talk about, those kind of stuff.
Culture.
Yeah. And so we, I look forward to, I think, because my channels are, comics, music, and faith. And so I'm trying to make sure I'm living up to all those things. So
it's a good triangle. It's stable. I dig it.
Yeah. Brian May is an astrophysicist, made his first guitar. And he still plays that guitar to this day. By the way,
was it the red one? It's called.
It's the red one. Yeah. It's
he made it with his dad, didn't he?
He did. They made it together, and I actually would love it. Would absolutely love to. He made a line of Brian May guitars.
Yeah.
And I would love to get my hands on one of them. Well, my hand.
I reckon if you met Brian May and he said to you, "There's the red one," I bet you'd play it.
I bet he would let me.
So, Brian, if you're out there, get this man back on his guitar by letting him play.
Brian,
something.
I'm telling you, Brian May is my guitar tone that I have set up for my electric guitar. It's based on Brian May and Gilmore, David Gilmour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those two men. I mean, they make me want to play guitar.
Have you ever heard of a guy called Patrick Moore, astronomer?
No.
Have you heard of him? Well, he's very famous. So he's dead now, but he was 90 odd. He died about 10 years ago. But he used to have a program on the television, a show called The Sky at Night, and he'd talk about Jupiter and the stars and the Earth and the Moon and all that kind of thing. And he was a really, really eccentric kind of guy, and he used to have a monocle, little glass, and he was really English, really, really English, really nice man, a really lovely man. And his work was so lauded that he plotted courses for the Apollo moonshots and things like that. So that's how good he was at the moon and all that kind of thing.
Wow.
Anyway, so one of his best friends, get this, was Brian May. Now, this is 20 years ago. So Brian May would be about 50 then, and Patrick Moore was about 85. And some of the best TV I've ever seen, because I like watching Patrick Moore and The Sky at Night, and I like to learn about astronomy and things like that. Yeah. Brian May comes on, arguably at least the top 3 guitarist of all time, right? And he's there, and he's got all that hair, all this, and he's having a conversation. So you got the world's greatest rock guitarist and the biggest band who ever was, talking to this eccentric Englishman with a monocle about the moon. And I cannot remember anything they said. I was just looking at these two people at polar opposites of culture, and they're talking about the stars and galaxies. It was absolutely fascinating.
I fell in love with, so I was born in 1980, right? And so by the time I was 8, 9, 10, I was really getting into music. 91, I remember, the year that Freddie died. Mm-hmm. I've always been in the church. People were very disparaging about his lifestyle in the church, but I always respected him as an artist and even as a person, very generous man. Yeah, very generous man. And, though I have, certain religious beliefs about, the homosexual lifestyle, I still was happy that he found someone that he loved and was able to be with him and take care of him during his last moments. I would have wanted nothing more for him to know Jesus Christ, obviously, because, I think if you're a Christian and you don't want everyone to know who Jesus is because you think he's the only way the people are going to go to heaven, then you're just the biggest jerk and the most heartless person in the world, right? To be like, oh, I don't want that person to know Jesus. So you want them to go to hell? Like, that's what you believe. And so I'm like, so obviously I want him to be, to have gotten to know Jesus. I believe he would have had, real peace once he had a relationship with him. But I always loved his music. And so it was, I just really got into Queen's music and Leonard Skinner. Those two bands were crazy awesome for me. I dated a Mormon girl just for a few months. Big mistake, but anyway, she was just insane with God and all. It was just like, Anyway, I was at my house one day, and she came around, and I was listening to Queen. Under Pressure was on. It was on the radio. I was actually drawing. I was drawing. It was on the radio. It just came on. It was the radio. And she said, "Oh, you shouldn't listen to that." And I said, "Why not?" And she said, because if you play it backwards, it says things about killing God and this sort of stuff. And I said, "That's really scary." And she said, "Yeah, it is." I said, "No, not that. Who sits and plays records backwards?" That's scary. I said, "That's a scary bit. That's the scary bit. Who sits and plays because you can do anything, can't you? You can make something out of anything. So if you put a piece of music on and play it backwards, and it says, I love the devil, but it doesn't really. It says, let's go to the shop. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. No, the laugh was both because the silliness of that and the fact that we now have 2 amazing audio clips. Because there's one where you're absolutely ripping on Brian that could be useful, and then just chanting your feelings on the devil. I mean, like, I love the devil. I love the devil. You'll spend enough time watching American news. So next week, at least one channel would whip that out and be like, "That's what? Me finished." So next week on Nerd Bacon, there may be new clips. Oh no.
I need a sketchy Saturday.
I'm going to have to go and find Jesus now to help me.
I can help you find him. Yeah, I know where he's at. I can get you there. But yeah, Brian May showed me that you could be smart and a rock star and creative.
All Queen were, weren't they? All Queen were all university people, weren't they? They were all really intelligent people.
Pedro, going from the comment that I made earlier, about I'm bacon bad. I'm going to use that. That's going to be my new tagline.
Oh, you got to pay me. You got to pay me.
Okay, I will. I'll give you that penny every time someone says it.
You need to do a one shot, like at least one page of you, drawn up. But I am the one who knocks, and you're just running around.
I am the one who knocks.
but you know what? The next time you have to do a crowd in hybrids after you get done with the Supernatural, where they're going, which everyone should watch, you need to put yourself at a stand selling bacon like it's a hot dog stand in the background somewhere. You need to do it now. There's no choice. Or buy it all. Just self-insert into your universe. I'll do
your deal, Luke. I'll let you use my bacon bad if you write me a piece of music for my Hatch film that I'm trying to get animated.
Absolutely, it's a deal.
Right. Okay.
It's a deal. I'd be happy to help you with that anyway. That's anything I can help a classy guy like you.
I've written a few tunes in my time with some friends. I don't sing or anything like that, but I can hum and get a melody. And I've got a tape with the music. I'd like someone who's a musician to adapt for me, so maybe we could work at that.
Yeah, let's work on that. Frog G says crisp and clean mic Jimmy, very nice. It is nice. No audio lags. He's in the conversation.
Yeah.
That he can actually get now muted whenever we play a clip.
I know, right?
Yeah. So
it's so weird.
Hamalana.
No more over. Yeah. No more.
I'm gonna kind of miss the random Mike Jimmy answering a question in the middle of a clip, though. It had a charm.
Or laughing at it. You hear him laughing at it. Right in the middle of the thing. It's pretty funny. It is pretty funny. So it's well, that went nicely.
it feels so good to be able to just follow and not have to be quiet because you're gonna crackle and make all kinds of problems when you start talking.
You call them rubbers, we call them Jimmy hats. Oh, that's a weird name for an eraser.
Well, see, all the pencils are Jimmy brand.
No, trust me, I got my Jimmy hat right over here. It's there you go. See?
Life is
Lord, help me. Oh, God. Sweet Jesus. Help me.
Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. That's delightful.
We have wandered into dangerous territory. Isn't there a pill for that?
Pill for everything else.
For everything if you're brave enough.
Yeah, I would be keeping your pecker up.
That's right. Yeah, keep your pecker up, guys.
We have got. Oh, here we go. Dave Brink, Genuine Comics, is here. Welcome, Dave. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
We're having a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
we're having a lot of fun for certain. We've got Kevin Joshua Burnham here. Good morning. It is great to have you here this morning on Facebook. We appreciate that.
Hey,
we do encourage you.
So you guys can help me with this. See this? What is it?
There we go.
Ooh.
Now, do you think that I could sell any of these on eBay?
Yeah.
Because I've got about 500 of them.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just thinking if I sold them all for £1 each, I'd be able to go to Paris for a couple of days.
You could, yeah. Like for me to go to Paris for a day.
Or I could go and see Mike Jimmy in Amsterdam, which sounds like a better idea.
Yes.
Mike Jimmy, yeah. One of these days we're going to have to go visit you. We're all going to have to visit you. With your new
so what do you think? Do you think I could get away with selling those?
I think so,
totally.
Yeah. Definitely on eBay. You can sell anything on eBay.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me, you can sell anything.
Even on cons.
Yeah, you can sell them at cons, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can sell them
I never go to cons.
But I don't, I always had this very strict viewpoint about fan art. It's like, well, I don't know the IP, that's Steph. Now it'd be like, I'm a musician, so cover bands I've played in, and it's one thing to play someone else's song live in front of an audience. It's another thing to record that song and sell a CD to that audience. So I'm like, well, that's there's licensing things. And so that's how I looked at fan art. I could draw you an original piece of fan art at a con. But having a print, that's
that's
well,
that's not right.
I'll be honest with you. Gas is $2 more today than it was a year ago. $2 exactly more today than it was a year ago. And I've got medical. I mean, I'm like, to the point where it's like, I got to do what I got to do.
Well,
and so
you should consider yourself lucky in America because, as Mike will know, petrol here is £1.60 a litre. So that's $3 a litre, not $3 a gallon.
Wow.
$3 a litre. Is it expensive with you, Mike, in Holland?
Right now, Euro 95 is...
Yeah, it's about the same, isn't it? About 160, isn't it?
€2.25.
Oh, right.
A litre. So that's...
What a rip-off.
That's about £2 right now.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
That's where it's heading.
So, I mean, we have to... I mean, the economy, obviously, worldwide is in the tank.
Only yesterday, I put £50 into my car, and it didn't hit the 3/4 on the dial thing, When usually, only say 5 years ago, that would have been more than filled the thing up.
Ooh.
So
you're gonna wrap it in bacon.
656 going to get bacon wrap. They certainly are, man. I'm excited about that. It's going to be a good time. We got the Ninja in the chat this morning. Welcome.
Oh, you're fine, Ninja. We're cool,
Bacon Nation, yeah. Welcome to the Bacon Nation.
You can let your hair down metaphorically around here. Hey, it's okay.
We have Jody McPhee from the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. Morning, Bacon Brigade. Yeah, Bacon Brigade. That's another good one. And there's so many cool names for who we are here. So unfortunately, Facebook is where my money is right.
Yeah,
right now. Yeah, Facebook sucks.
It's a necessary evil.
It's funny because I really like the divide because it's actually making life a lot easier for me because both my Twitterverse and my Facebook are calming down as people self shutter.
I found that one too.
I'm genuinely serious on this. Like they're the people who are left of me are usually on Facebook and the people who are right of me are on Twitter. So I know mostly where I stand. So there's a lot less of a minefield where whatever opinion you put out is going to blow up into a huge flame war for saying anything. It's like, I at least know what games are being played around me. And I mean, I'm still offending everyone equally, but at least I know.
Yeah, I only publish certain things. I will publish different. Some things I'll publish the same on both platforms. Then I'll publish different things like this is a Twitter thing and this is a Facebook thing. And then some things I'm like, okay, I'll put this out on Twitter, but I won't put it out on Facebook for a while.
Well,
knowing how things work on both platforms now.
My Twitter's public. I mean, anybody can go to @NTalker and follow me, and we can have conversations and stuff. And I love that to the most part. But my Facebook, because I have relatives, I usually keep a little more, relatively private.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to shuffle my more business side over there because, you don't, sometimes it's hard. You can have people who are relatives or your friends really sabotage your brand.
Yeah.
Sometimes intentionally. If you're doing well, there are a lot of people who will help you as long as you're not perceived as doing better than they are.
True.
But as soon as you get over that, a lot of people will shoot you in the knee just because you have the audacity to succeed in something. And my goal is to make everybody around me better than I am. That's always been my goal. When I teach somebody to sword fight, my first goal is to get them to beat me. When I see somebody, let me get you guys to the next level. Because eventually I'll end up there just by doing the right thing. It will come on its term, Yeah.
Past Master Dan says, if you do need a jingle, please keep Luke in mind. It will make you tingle as it sneaks up from behind. Nita says that, my $sign, $3 signs is an exaggeration.
You're not there yet.
Hey, you know what? You're worth $4, Nita. You are worth $4 signs minimal.
That is true.
And I mean that. You do a huge amount of work for people.
Past Master Dan says, I'm confused. Some of you are showing up in chat. I know you aren't blocked. Yeah.
Do you want to see some more artwork? Let's talk art. Look at that.
Oh.
Now, that's narrative art at its finest, because that's basically pulling you in. You want the story. Of course, Marvel would put 67 speech bubbles in there, but
well, that is from my book Iapetus Rising, a science fiction book, an illustrated book that I produced a couple of years ago.
Nice.
So,
it's really great to see your work. So much of your podcast presence in the time I've known you has been about promoting your wonderful Jack Kirby book, to the point where a lot of people know you from the perspective of your almost journalistic pursuit in being able to speak with Jack Kirby and discuss things, but they don't really have the depth of understanding of what a tremendous artist you are. So I'm really glad to see this other side of you being promoted again.
I do lots of things. I think I've said this before. Michael had heard me say this before. When I was 18 and going to college, the only thing I wanted to do was animation. Yeah. And in my graphics career, 40 years, it's the only thing I haven't done. But now I've done little short films, just trying out, but nothing I'd probably show anybody. But now with this Blender thing that I'm going to start getting into, hopefully, because I've been doing this Kirby thing and doing Comics Unlimited and doing all this other stuff, I'm going to do the work on Blender and try and produce my own animated film, because it would be easy for me to say pay Pedro to do it, but I want to do it.
No.
He can do the full length feature film later. I want to do the first 10-minute slot.
You're talking Blender. Are you talking 3D or are you talking 2D?
2D. Is it the grease paint? Is it called or something? Grease pencil.
No idea.
It's called grease pencil. Because last year I was learning Blender, and Blender is like a sculpting thing. You can do it in 3D, as Mike says. But I was finding that difficult because I'm not a 3D artist.
You might like Clip Studio Paint with their
Clip Studio. That's what I use currently. I mean, I prefer it over Photoshop, honestly. But Past Master Dan he says he's confused. Here's why: we're being simulcast to 2 different YouTube channels right now, so you may find you whether you're on the Raging 2 network or if you're on the Luke Zone Studios network. Over there, this show goes out to 2 places when we broadcast. I do encourage you, though. Let's do a little bit of housekeeping. I do encourage you, though. Please go check out the Raging 2 network if you're online, because there's a lot of great content over there. You know what? Let me turn that comment off so that you can see that. There's a lot of great content over there. But if you're watching right now from the Raging 2 network, I also encourage you to come over and subscribe to the Luke Stone Studios. That's where we're going to start talking about music, and I'm going to have a faith playlist where we do some studying, some what we call expository teaching of scripture, where we kind of break that down and make it understandable in small bites, like little chunks. So so we're going to have all of that content over there. I do quick draws and things like that, but the Raging 2 network has a lot of great content. I think every day of the week we've got something, so there's always something going on over there, so make sure you check that out. Nerd Bacon is excited to be a part of that network, and so we're very it's a joy for us. So definitely check that out, and also don't forget to if you're buying Gemini mailers, to use that Raging 2 code so that you can save a little money on those Gemini mailers over there.
It is really. I love the absolute conceptual diversity that I encounter in the travels that I have. People do great artists who are radically different. The art styles are radically different. The content is radically different. Just the amazing things that we bump into, and it's I find myself and maybe that's how I've been able to stay kind of happier than a lot of people. I've never lost my sense of wonder, and it's just so wondrous. Like, oh, hi, Eric Hawkins. Eric Hawkins showed up in the chat.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Actually, we need to get going on these.
Yeah, we do.
Comments.
There's
we got
so
a whole
much.
lot. Yes. Let me try to get caught up here. Okay, so I'm back to. I'm glad y'all like it. Yes.
Yeah, you're a good artist.
Past masters on Oloid. All right, so yeah, okay, that's where I was. I had a comment dumping it. It messed me up. And Johnny Cage is open for commissions, guys. So
there we go.
Get a hold of him, Johnny. I'll be in touch. I'll be in touch today.
No, nothing wrong with that.
Glenn, I'll probably be in touch with you as well. Yeah,
okay, good.
Gentleman Comics. Where are we?
Probably.
Where can we see your art? And so I'm pretty sure we've got that down there. In there, DC can't afford good artists.
At this point, no.
I don't think they can.
Won't throw money at Luke.
Hojo says Johnny Cage draws women better than anyone. No, not see out there today, or maybe you see out there today. Full stop. Yeah, he's fantastic. Fantastic at what he does. Let's get going. Johnny Cage draws women better than anyone I see out there today. So yeah, he corrected himself, fixed it. Thank you for that, because I'm like the Ron Burgundy of comments. I will read whatever's on the teleprompter.
Please, guys, please don't take advantage of him admitting his kryptonite.
Yeah. In my honest opinion, Jack Kirby created modern comics. I think you're right, Past Master Dan. Yeah. I do agree with you. I think you're absolutely correct in saying that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we've got...
and Stanley created modern comic marketing. But, you know... And I love Stan, don't get me wrong, but love him for what he was.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, that's just great advice across the board.
Yeah, join a weekly life drawing class. Get Bridgman's book. Get Loomis's book. Get Glenn Vippis's book. Absolutely, that's all great things. I can't argue with any of that.
Mm-hmm.
X is a vowel. We're talking now. Yeah.
That's gotta be talking French.
Yeah.
And in America, we call croissants croissant sandwich. Yes, we do. I love it. I love it. I love it.
If it's not 2,000 calories per bite, we don't want it.
Banana operation. Yes. Banana eating debate. We got to draw the line somewhere.
No, we
Pedro,
don't.
No, Pedro.
It is breakfast food. It is well within the scope of this episode, this series.
There we go.
As aforementioned, any line that there is, we easily and willfully
we don't need
go over
no
it.
stinking borders, you know.
Yes. Oh no. Hojo says I break my banana in half like a gorilla.
Oh.
If you got a rage, break your banana.
As a form of protest against evolution, I open my banana from the stem. But that is just me. Thank you, Agent Zero. That's a good laugh. I like that.
I like the fruit ninja my bananas.
The snobbery. Oh, the snobbery. There's been some elitist talk this morning, hasn't there?
Linguistic gatekeeping. Anyway.
Yeah, Johnny Cage, I'm just left wondering if these gringos think they sound different.
Hey, man, I pay the gringo tax for good food. I'm allowed to sound like a white guy. I understand.
There we go. Glenn. Yep.
Glenn. It's Glenn, right? Glenn, not Glenn. But to be honest, in America, we've got people with different accents that they can't help how they pronounce things.
That's true too.
Well, that may be so, but Mrs. Mither knew exactly what she was doing.
Oh yes.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
She was what we would call a cow.
Guess what? We would call that. We know exactly. Some things are universal.
Yeah.
If you want a Glenn, here you go. Glenn in Monsterland.
That's the one. Yeah.
I always get Flemish around allergy season. Man, Past Master Dan is killing the comments today. Thank you, Past Master Dan.
Oh my God! I always go Flemish when I go down south.
Yeah. I'm always on the wall waiting my turn to be paddled. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Mark.
You know what, hon? Good on you.
You do
I
you.
support sort of lifestyles.
Pedro asked if I'm an AC30 man. Yes, I am an AC30 man. In fact, I had all of the amps and 2 pedal boards that I had to put together, and I got sick of moving all that. And when the Helix came out, I was working at Guitar Center, so I tested it out, and I was like, oh heck yeah, this is great. I was able to navigate it really quick, and so I created my own little, my own patches in there to emulate the stuff that I had in real life. So now I just have to carry around a bag, and I can plug into systems. Cool. And it had the left and right because I always ran 2 amps. So imagine carrying 2 AC30s around, because I ran a left and right out of my system, and we would have to mic them that way.
Is that while you were playing a minor diminished alternative B?
Well, if there was such a thing, yes, I would play.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what the hell they are.
I have to comment, as someone who knows nothing about that, my brain took it to what I know, and I thought it was a BattleTech reference. So my brain went, so you're an autocannon 30 guy? I'm like, shoot, I didn't know they go to 30.
Oh, yeah.
And then
music
doubling down. Like,
Pedro
has imagine carrying 2 autocannons around, so I have this image of you walking with giant weaponry over your shoulders. Sorry.
Well, that's how we do it. That's how we do it. When I walked into a venue, they were like, wow, that's a great setup. And it sounded good. I mean, a single guitar I could fill the space as a single guitarist with the way I played. So I would be able to fill the space.
Just one guitar.
Because I have a 5150 Mark 1 head, and a very old Laney 212 combo. That is really cool. The PV 5150 is it's a staple. I used to run a PV Bandit teal stripe, which was the first year they did this thing called, and I know you guys probably don't even understand this lingo, but it was the first year they did the trans tube technology, but they didn't call it trans tube technology, which was a solid state amp that emulated a tube amp. So it was a modern solid state that sounded like an older tube amp, and the circuit emulated a tube amp, and it was just on all the time. And so it was the first year they did it. It was the best year they did it. Later, they changed the circuit a bit, and they left you with an on-on switch. You could turn it on and off, and they called it trans tube technology. And so I hunted down in a flea market. This old man had a old Bandit 1990, 94, 93. I can't remember what year it first came out, but the teal stripe Bandit, and I played it, and it sounded great. The only problem was it had a big slash across the grill guard that had been sewn back up, so it looked like Frankenstein. And I was like, I used that amp, played that amp for years until I was able to upgrade to my AC30s, which they were great. But yeah, that sounds like that'd be a great tone, Pedro, a great tone. And listen to David Gilmour's solo album, Raise My Rent, especially. Yes, wow, juicy,
gorgeous. I feel bad admitting, but I'm obligated to, that I dabble in I have an electric cigar box guitar. So I have a 3-string cigar box with a little tiny battery powered amp that plugs in. And the idea of an electric cigar box guitar is so delightful to me because it's so wrong. But
that is awesome, though.
It's hung up because I had to stop playing when my hands stopped working, and now I'm really itching to get back into it if I could find my slide. But dang it,
it would be more believable if the record played backwards, said "Buy Pepsi." Yes. Now some artists actually did place a track in reverse when that fad of playing records backwards started. They would actually put messages in there for grins and giggles. Yeah. We've got Brianna K. Wielder here.
Wielder?
Man, sorry, Brianna, I hacked your name up like a third world plastic surgeon.
You thought you were Mrs. Mither, didn't you?
That was Mrs. Mither, yeah. So hey, how's everyone doing? Doing great. Welcome. Welcome to the show. We're having a good time today. And bacon bat. That sounds delicious.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Or Agent Zero says, better yet, eat at Joe's. My next recording, that's what I'll do. In reverse, we'll put in special messages like that. It is finished, Mr. Jimmy. I'm completing my first Life on Korra fan art piece. Awesome. Yay. That's awesome. I can't wait to see that.
Sweetheart. I'll share it all over the internet.
Shipping would kill you?
Yeah.
On the buttons. Yeah. Not too bad. But if you're selling them in America, or here's what you could do. You could, if you wanted to sell them in America on eBay, what you do is you have somebody that has a store and you send them a box of them. That way you're sending one bit of them and then they can mail them out domestically here.
Yeah.
That would be worth it, I think, in the end. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Call it a set and refuse to break it up. The whole 500 of them.
Yeah.
Start your own secret Phantom Society.
Phantom buttons, Glenn. Take my money. If you need a U.S. proxy for fulfillment, I can be your guy. There you go.
There you go. Okay.
I hadn't even seen the comment. There we go. There's your U.S. proxy.
Support interaction. I feel like I'm on the rising tide.
Bringing people together. Bringing people together.
Over bacon.
Yeah. Well, I am not stealing Mike Jimmy's work, I swear. I totally will.
I was thinking what I could do.
Permission is fine.
What I could do with those Phantom badges, if I sell them for $100 each, I could actually deliver them to the people in America.
You could, yeah. That's 100% increase.
The gas.
Talk about the gas, yeah. There's my comment. It keeps jumping on me.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm having a little trouble following.
Just
Yep. Everybody can go to
Thank you,
Talker
Johnny.
At Twitter. There you go.
Yeah,
Eric Hawkins. Welcome, Eric Hawkins. Yes. Good morning, Baconators. It's great to have you here today. Eric's got some great work out there, and I'm certain somebody is going to be popping in their information so that you can see his work. And this morning we've also got 80s Made Consumer. Welcome, 80s Made Consumer. So great to have you here today. Welcome to the Bacon Nation. Yes. And then again with the links, thank you, Frog G, so much. Eric Hawkins on 5/26. Watch Drawn and Quartered Ultimate Edition as we draw Luke Stone's characters. Yes. Oh, yeah. Cannot wait. I'm excited. This is going to be my first time on Drawn and Quartered. I can't believe I've always wanted to get on there because I always love seeing other people draw my characters, and I've always wanted to get on there. So I can't wait. I'm eagerly anticipating this event. Like, you guys have no idea. I'm on a lot of streams. You know that. A lot of streams. And I love going on probably 90% of the ones that I go on. I love being on them. But this one I am so excited about being on. I just can't even contain my excitement about it. It's crazy.
I believe you. No, that's awesome.
Dumped on me again. All right. So yeah, we've got thank you, Frog G. More
all the
links. And I think I'm caught up. Yep, about time. Yes, about time. I have caught up. Woo!
We can start talking again.
We can start talking about my stuff. Oh my gosh. So yeah, so this morning we've kind of been all over the gamut with art and things like that. So there is kind of something before we call it a day and get out there and start making the world a little bit better with our creations. There was one thing that I was thinking about. I have not watched the new movie. The what does he call that guy? Doctor Strange movie. The Doctor Strange, the multiverse. I've not seen that yet. I'm probably going to go see it next week, but because I do want to see it. But I've gotten a mixed bag of reviews on this thing, and I don't want to give away any spoilers at all because I haven't seen it. But I did see one article where my daughter actually got excited about it, and I had a different feeling about it. But it was about Scarlet Witch or Wanda kind of senselessly murdering somebody in the movie. And
what murder isn't senseless?
Right. But it was one of those things. She didn't have to. It was kind of like a thing.
You mean it was gratuitous?
Yeah, gratuitous. But for her, in the telling the story wise, senseless. Like, she didn't have to. She just chose to. The actress said it felt very empowering to do this scene and stuff like that. And the article kind of, like, I'm not real happy about that. I mean, this is, they have set up Scarlet Witch as being kind of a hero in this universe. Even on WandaVision, I thought maybe they were going to do, kind of a bit of her villain storyline, because that's the storyline I'm more familiar with.
Yep.
Is Scarlet Witch being a bad guy, because she, and White Witch in there, and all that kind of dynamic of those great X-Men stories back in the day. But this isn't X-Men, this is Avengers, this is this is the MCU.
This is the problem, because they've been looking for a reason to pull in the X-Men for a long time, and the I've only seen the trailer, so I'll need a couple seconds if anybody else wants to mute while I say the phrase I saw in the trailer. But in the trailer, Stephen Strange is brought before the Illuminati.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you know anything about the membership of the Illuminati in the classic,
let's say goodbye to Froggy. Froggy's got a hop.
Bye, Frog. Hop along.
Have a great
awesome,
day.
dude. Catch you next time.
Yeah, no. Nothing wrong with that.
Fine,
I still haven't seen Endgame, but the arc in that could be, if they're doing the reality warping, I'm thinking could bring the mutants in.
It could. I mean, I don't know about that, but
really need, because I've heard some things that I won't get into for spoiler type situations, but one thing Disney isn't going to do is sit on a property that has the potential to be valuable and not use it. And Disney basically acquired Fox to get the X-Men and a few
they're going to. They're going to eventually bring in the X-Men.
This is the groundwork to pull it in, because you have to be careful, because if the X-Men had been around and not been active, you have the same problem with the Eternals, where there's all these superheroes who did nothing while the world was being invaded by the Chitauri. They did nothing while all this other stuff is going on, and now they're suddenly deciding to act. It doesn't feel like they've been just written in hastily at all.
Yeah. Well, and there's another rumor that they're reworking the Fantastic Four. Now, they've tried the Fantastic Four, the other studio has, and they have failed miserably on the Fantastic Four franchise, on that name. But there's rumor that John Krasinski is going to play Reed Richards, which for me, now I think that's a great casting. John Krasinski is a great actor. He's tall, especially now with the beard, and he's gotten older. He doesn't look as goofy as he did when he played Jim on The Office, but he's proven himself as a serious actor, and I would like to see him in that role.
And that opens up some interesting things, because I think a lot of peak Marvel was a modernish peak Marvel, fairly recent, was the Ultimates universe. The Ultimates whole arc was some of the best Marvel did, and then they walked away from it.
Yeah.
And what happened in that whole thing with Reed Richards, who really is rarely portrayed well, Reed Richards can be a very arrogant character. He can be almost misanthropic, depending on how you handle him. And this isn't bashing Reed. I love the family dynamic that the Fantastic Four has had.
But the patriarch of a family unit can sometimes be that way.
Right. And it will be interesting to see which way, because one thing I watch for is the portrayal of fathers in Hollywood. It's one of those things that's a hang up of mine, because fathers are portrayed as drunkard, idiot layabouts, or largely across media. So it's interesting to take Reed Richards, who's one of the few canonical, consistent husband and father superheroes. There aren't a lot of actually consistently married superheroes.
Yeah.
And see how they handle it, because they have the opportunity to either rise above that tendency and provide inspiration towards somebody who could be a good look. We can have
I love how that subsequently I love how they've handled Hawkeye.
Yes.
I was not a fan of Hawkeye in the comics, but they've really kind of abandoned that a bit, and I love that family dynamic that he has. I think it's great. And let's welcome real quick Marvy the Sin Killer.
Luke,
have a great day.
You mentioned the Scarlet Witch.
Yes.
I'll give you an exclusive here. I know why they had her kill that other person. Because she's from the Eastern, what used to be called the Eastern Bloc.
Yeah.
Behind the Iron Curtain.
Yes.
Well, they would pronounce her name Vanda. And they called her Wanda, like you did. So this is a joke, Luke.
She was mad because they pronounced her name wrong.
They mithered her.
Her mum was called Mither. She's called Vanda Mither.
Vanda Mither. Vanda Mither. You know,
and we bring it back. And we bring it back.
Wow.
Vanda Mither. Oh,
Vanda
God.
Mither.
Oh my God.
You know what? Everybody who's watching this, throw this like hashtag Vanda Mither. And don't explain it.
Vanda Mither.
Vanda Mither.
Vanda Mither.
For our Americanized, Wanda with a W, Mother with an I, as like one word. Hashtag it. No context, none.
I'm typing it in right now, guys.
I'm there, and you know what? That's going to be just part of the Bacon Nation secret, handshake thing.
How ironic!
How ironic!
How ironic!
It's awesome piece.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
There's some fan art.
Brianna.
Oh yeah.
Sweet. Brianna, great job on that.
New tab.
Great use of color on that.
Yeah. Oh, that's a little oversized.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's like, oh wow, we can see the grains in the paper now.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. That is
I love it, sweetheart. Thank you so much.
That is gorgeous.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Is that chalked?
Yeah, I think it is.
I think it
like
is,
chalk,
yeah.
Or I can tell if it's chalk or oil pastel. I adore that.
Yeah.
That's so whimsical. And yes, we can enjoy whimsical things, people. Not everything needs to be Frank Miller's grittiness.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just...
There we go. Yeah, no. Great work,
Oh, yeah,
sweetheart.
exactly.
Oil pastels.
Oil pastels. Okay.
I love
I
oil
do too.
pastels.
My first comic book I did, I had no idea what I was doing. And I made it on the only paper I had. And I drew it. And I did the lines I did with black ballpoint pen. Mm-hmm. And then I colored it with oil pastels. Because that's all I had.
Yeah.
It's
beautiful piece.
Appreciation. That's gorgeous.
Yes. Brianna did a great job. Congratulations on that. Hopefully you get lots of likes and retweets. I know I'll be helping with that as well. And yeah, I definitely put in there, look out for the Von de Mither.
That's the one.
Hashtag Von de Mither. Yeah, so it, that's
how
a lot of fun.
How ironic, though, that 60 years after she insulted me, I go and make her famous.
I will obliterate you in fiction, as we like to say.
Vengeance is yours, so saith Glenn.
But no, my original point was, what do you think? Like, what's your feelings when they've kind of set a character up to be a good guy, but yet now I don't know if she's going to keep the good guy arc or if they're going to move her into the villain arc.
They did it with the Joker, didn't they? They sort of made him sympathetic, and I mean, Joaquin Phoenix is great, and the film. I've not seen the whole film, but the bits I've seen is really fantastic. But
I liked it.
The guy is a murderer, isn't he? He's not. He shouldn't be. No, they made him a hero, haven't they?
Relatable, relatable, and you're rooting for him. Now, sometimes I like the root for the villain kind of thing. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, but not when he's going shooting people on stage and things like that, and shooting people on the subway,
But that's the thing. Like, you can see the broken character behind the character. That makes him relatable. That makes you go, "Oh dear God, that could have been me."
Yeah,
yes, if it's handled in such a way where you get to watch the breaks form.
Yes.
Because, like, I for one, I have a very spicy take in that I kind of enjoyed the One More Day arc of Peter Parker getting pushed too far after he got, he unmasked and they shot Aunt May and he just lost his stuff on people. I found it very cathartic because he's been playing so rigidly by the rules and getting messed over for so long that when he finally broke, a lot of people.
Yes.
Ooh.
I'm happy anytime you want.
Yeah.
You just tell me. You tell me I'm there. Oil pastels never dry. Trust me, I know they never dry. That comic book was very hard to keep. It was very hard to keep looking nice.
Now, can't you just spray sealer over them?
No.
I can tell you a funny story about spray.
I did. It didn't work well.
No, I genuinely wondered because I never tried it. My brain just went, well, wait a second.
No, you can't.
No.
Oh, it's tragic.
Yeah.
But beautiful.
It will start flaking instead.
Well, here's what I did. I sprayed. I didn't have regular art sealer. I had that clear shoe sealer. You spray on your shoes to keep them from getting wet. I sprayed that on it.
Never again.
It didn't work well.
Many years ago, I spent a whole day painting a Welsh flag and a Union flag, like that, for this advert in this art studio. And this artwork was quite big. And I spent all day drawing these two flags, researching and getting it right and everything, and then painting it up. And and then it had to go to the place where it was to printer now. It had to go now. So I put a cover the junior guy, put a cover over it. It was okay. Oh, sorry. Before we put the cover on, my studio manager got some of this spray and he sprayed it to fix it. So it was okay. And it was dry.
Okay.
Left it for 5 minutes. It was dry. Then the junior guy, the young guy, put the cover on it, the flap on it, and he was going to take it to the printer. Now it had to go now.
Right.
And I just said to my studio manager, I said, "How good is that fixative, Mike? How good is it?" He said, "How good is it? You can wipe your backside." He did that with his, and then pulled up the flap, and it had smudged it all. So, it cost. So I had to do it again for the next day, and it cost something like, this is 40 years ago. It cost something like £2,000 for the printer, because his press is ready. They need to go.
Yeah.
So, but it was so funny, and he just pulled it back. He didn't look at it first. He just pulled it back, and it was all smudged. It's fantastic.
So Brianna says, obviously somebody working with oil pastels knows they make the two brands that make pretty impressive pastel fixes nowadays. That's good. That's nice to know that.
Great. No, see, I love learning that sort of thing. That's like, I'm always learning on the show. I get to watch Glenn talk about stuff, and I'm like looking at the art, like, oh, pick up this, pick up that,
Yeah. But yeah. So back to what I wanted to talk about was, what do you guys think about these so whether or not they take Wanda on a villain approach, if they send her on that story arc, or if they try to keep her as a good guy, one of the good ones. What do you think about them? Even in modern comics, having a good guy do villainous things like that. Now, and please bear in mind, I'm not talking about the anti-hero, like the Punishers and things like that. There's a place for them. Yes. I'm talking about your legitimate good guys.
I think it falls into what I've said before on other podcasts, and help people take it the right way. I don't watch these modern films. I don't buy the modern comics because I am sick to death of this woke stuff where they have to have somebody as a black person or as gay, or why don't they just, and that seems to me it falls into the same category. Wanda is a villain, a bad person.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she's a good person. And for me, that's just for the sake of doing it, because they don't have the imagination to make a story with her in it being a villain. That's my opinion.
Well, okay,
and I just wish they'd leave things alone.
If she was originally a villain, and I am not familiar with American comics, so bear that in mind, please.
Right.
If they show her off as a good guy, and suddenly, she starts actually murdering. Killing is one thing.
Yeah.
Murder is another.
Yes.
they can put that into a story arc where, you know, the pressure of being a hero is waning down on her, which would be a very nice story arc.
But because that's not against that's against the original character. She was
the bad guy.
Well, I'm telling you, she was never a good guy. She was with Magneto, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She was from the Eastern Bloc, Eastern Europe.
Magneto was her dad.
Yeah. Well,
now,
you know.
the trick about Wanda is, over the years, from inception out, they've been, Wanda's on that spectrum of, is she evil versus insane?
Yeah.
And that's where there's some wiggle room, because there are people like characters like the Joker who are insane and clearly evil. But Wanda doesn't usually come off as evil as much as she's insane and easily manipulated by certain people, powerful personalities, because she can warp reality around her. Her understanding of reality is often nebulous. So that means somebody who's a very forceful personality, ironically, Charles Xavier or Magneto, at both times, because I have some choice things about what I think about both these gentlemen, you know. Something about, you know, child soldiers never being a good idea and things like that.
Yeah, you know, even, you know.
But, you know,
Charles was
both of
Charles
them
was a manipulative guy.
Through force of personality alone. Not necessarily superpowers, but force of personality alone and manipulation to get Wanda to behave in the way they want.
So Johnny Cage is heading out for lunch today.
Very powerful, but she has very little agency as a character. And that gives a wiggle room where, like, what drives me nuts is I can see where the story could be handled to have depth and actually tell something that could mean something to somebody watching. You know, we could approach this as a study in mental illness as well as just good and evil and stuff. They could do that. And the good writers we've had in the past have been able to take these parallel concepts and weave it into this thing called a story.
Yeah.
But you see, the thing I have a problem with is this. You're talking about mental illness and evil, people who are evil. And I know people, I believe people, I think you're born, if you're going to be evil, I think you're born evil. I don't think you can be made, you can't turn evil. That's my opinion, right? Now, I don't know for a fact, but I'm figuring my dad must have killed somebody.
Yeah.
Because he was a paratrooper on D-Day.
Yeah.
And they attacked that gun emplacement and Germans fell. Now, my dad said to me, he didn't know whether he hit anybody because people are firing, ducking, you're scared, all the things are going off. But I'm pretty sure he must have hit one person. Yeah. But my dad wasn't mentally ill or evil.
No.
So why does Wanda have to be mentally ill or evil? Why can't she just be a person who is sort of just totally immoral and doesn't care?
Well, what I'm saying is,
hang on, she doesn't care whether she actually kills anybody or not. Like that guy in Schindler's List when he drags the guy out to shoot him.
Yeah.
He doesn't care, and his gun doesn't work. He doesn't care whether he does it.
That is called being a sociopath,
right?
And that can happen. I'm just saying the way she's been depicted has vacillated a lot, and as much as we
but let's be honest, they're using the mentally ill thing terribly, and it's giving people with legit mental illnesses bad reputations because now you associate mental illness with evil behavior, and that's not.
You see, it's the same thing as this nature nurture. You know, is it your environment that makes you that way? Well, I don't think it is. I think it has an effect on you where you're born and brought up, and parents and friends and all that, of course. But I think it's your nature, and I'll tell you why. Mike might have heard of this. We have a case over here in the 60s, Myra Hindley and Ian Brady, and they kidnap children and they kill them. Yeah, they're notorious over here. They're both dead now, but they're notorious. Yeah. Now, Myra Hindley was you get all these do-gooders coming on saying it was her environment, blah 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 blah. But she had a sister, and she didn't go and kill anybody, and she had the same parents. Now I've got two brothers and a sister, and I'm totally different to them. or a lot of differences. I might look like them and all that, but I'm different. None of them are creative like I am, but I can't do what they do. So the nurture thing goes out the window, because we have the same parents, went to the same schools, lived in the same house, at the same food, and have the same life at home.
I think I have met truly evil people, and I want to put that hard down before we go. As in people who have kidnapped and ritually murdered people. I have known evil in my time, personally, intimately, as in close enough friends that I've known them very, very well. Lived with them at points. I have known people. The problem is the percentage of true evil is never zero, but it's also not as big as the world tries to project it as. So I look at it as, because I've studied a lot of psychology and a whole lot of sociology, and what you have is there will always be a percentage of narrow people that are just true evil. I've encountered it. It exists. I believe in supernatural evil. I believe in that. But we will rush, because that's easier, to go, well, that person's just evil. Yeah. And I believe that's like saying something is their mind is broken, because it is. And when you have mental illness, it can be treated. Now, I have worked professionally with people with things like explosive disorder, extreme schizophrenia, and I've watched people literally go from a nice old man to somebody who can reduce a couch to kindling in a matter of minutes because of whatever move, and you can watch it move on them if you have any sense. Mm-hmm. So it's tempting. The problem is, we're at a point where the stories in comics have gotten, at least they were before it became socially engineered to push an agenda, they would explore the depths of the human condition through a mirror, maybe a mirror darkly, but you have that, and that's how you could resound. With Wanda, we have an opportunity where we could either do the shortcut and make her just evil and say and I have no problem. I love an evil character in fiction because we need to acknowledge it's there. But you can also do interesting things. You look at the Mad Titan Thanos from the comics, and Thanos' motivation and mentality is radically different.
Yeah.
Now, one thing Marvel doesn't do, DC tries to fake that it has continuity. And when it breaks, they have a crisis event, and then they try to fake that they have continuity a little farther.
Yeah.
Marvel is much better at their continuity is shattered. So they a long time ago went multiversal with it, so they could say this isn't Earth 616. This is Earth.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. If they want to bring in the X-Men, then they have to make Wanda a villain. Because if you bring in the X-Men, then you have to bring in Magneto and his mutants.
And that would, I think, what could happen, and maybe why she's going more evil, is you're taking two dimensions and you're squishing them together.
Yeah.
And if Wanda is the hinge point, the Wanda of that dimension and the Wanda of the movie dimension are coming together into one entity. That would cause insanity. That would cause.
Well, we can debate why it's happening, all that. But
the real reason why it's happening is Disney has a policy of not overlauding villains. They don't they want to make money with their villains, but they don't want to push them too far unless they have a redemption arc of some sort. They either have they're destroyed or they're redeemed, but they never prosper fully as villains,
Like Doctor Doom. Exactly. That's why we haven't seen Doctor Doom. Because Doctor Doom, well-written character, always succeeds.
Yes,
like and he actually rules the world at one point.
He has to for the world to survive, and I love Doctor Doom is one of my favorite characters of all time.
He aspires to rule the world. He winds up ruling the world, and he's incredibly bored.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, I need more. I need to do something else. And but here's here's my problem that I have in this.
Respect your point, Glenn.
I
hope you don't think I'm talking over you.
No.
Disrespecting any way, shape, or form.
No. Let me just say, if you want to know how Doctor Doom was created, get my book.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Jack Kirby told me. Jack Kirby told me himself, and it's in there.
I can't
What does Brian say? Hashtag self-promote.
Yes. Yeah. Hashtag always promote, and folks.
Oh yeah, and the editor on that was really good, by the way.
It's the best editing I've ever seen, and he pointed out all the spelling mistakes with a U in it. Of which I think there were 5.
Oh. And after that, he stamped a big American flag.
Because Jack Kirby's American. So here's the deal, though. My concern with this is they've well established Wanda in this universe as a good guy, and people that now have identified, especially new fans, when they identify this character as a good guy and they do something wicked, that
yes,
I miss the days where good guys were good guys.
Yeah,
like Captain America, I feel like he was a good guy who's a good guy.
Yeah.
I actually like the Falcon storyline. I know that in the comics that Falcon did become Captain America, and I appreciate that storyline that they did with Falcon and Winter Soldier. It was well. It could have been better done. I'll be honest with you, it could have been better done. The comics were better by far, but it's one of those things where I miss the good guys just being flat out good guys. They don't have, we need at least a few where they don't have flaws, where they are.
This is what makes my blood boil about what they're doing with these characters that I've known all this time and that I love so much. Right? Take for example, what's happened is this: when I used to read comics way back in the Middle Ages, they were fun, but we all knew they weren't real.
Yeah.
Now the thing is that everybody thinks these people are real. A lot of people think it's happened, and we get all these public information, like on the soap operas now. I used to like watching a couple of soap operas over it. I've stopped because they've become a public announcement about a murderer or mental illness or something. Well, I'm not dismissing those things; those are important. But for half an hour, I want to be entertained. But what really gets me going these days is what I've noticed is the way that, like you just said, that the Falcon became Captain America. How? Just because he put his uniform on. When I used to read comics, the comic was about a guy called Peter Parker, and he happened to be Spider-Man. Now I can be Spider-Man if I put his head on, put his hood on. No,
everything's a mantle.
Well, they did that with the United States of Captain America, where he went around and they found all these. I like what Young Ripa says about it. These tokenized versions of Captain America, and if
Captain America,
subscribe to his channel, definitely.
Captain America to me is Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
And that's it. He's not the Falcon. He's not the Falcon. He's not Mary Jane. I mean, how absurd was that when Peter Parker was ill and Mary Jane went out as Spider-Man?
Yeah.
But when she took the hood off, her face was still beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, I know comics are ridiculous and Spider-Man is ridiculous, but I'm talking about you suspend your disbelief and all that.
Yeah.
Turning heroes into villains is nihilistic postmodern poppycock. Agent Zero says.
Well, that's the.
Well, Wanda kidnapped an entire town in her own show, so she is a villain. Yeah, but they still at the end tried to make her a good guy in that whole thing. Now, my daughter is excited about Wanda the villain thing, but here, Scarlet Witch has her own comic.
Yeah.
In that it's very occultic. So Facebook users.
Which comic? I didn't see that. I only saw a couple of pages. You know when 9/11 happened?
Yes.
Didn't they do a comic where Dr. Doom and Lex Luthor or the Kingpin or somebody were standing on the debris of the Trade Center, and Dr. Doom was crying because these people had destroyed. I thought this guy was from Germany or some Latvia or Latveria or something.
Care about it, yeah.
Why would he'd be laughing, wouldn't he? He'd be saying, "Why didn't I think of that?"
Yeah.
But they made him
villains.
into this.
Villains do this stuff.
He's crying through his thing.
Mask. Yeah.
That's one point we have to talk about, because I think
let me talk about. We got to get to these comments again.
Okay.
I want to talk about this.
Shut up, Nick.
Because we've talked a whole lot about villains being portrayed as relatable. That's okay sometimes, but so Facebook user says, I decided not to watch the new movie because it has occultic symbols in the trailer. Here's the thing: Scarlet Witch uses occultic symbols. Like, that's who she is. In her comic, she is anti-Christian because that's the character. Now, they've gone very political with it in the comic, and I don't care for it. But that's who this character is. She's anti-Christian. She's somewhat anti-male. She's a villain. She's a bad guy. My daughter wants to see bad guy Scarlet Witch because bad guy Scarlet Witch is scary and a lot to handle, right? But they've made her a good guy. My problem that I'm running into, that I'm dealing with here, is that they've made Scarlet Witch out to be a good guy, and now she is a hero to some young fan out there.
Yes.
And now their hero, they're destroying their hero. I hate it when people destroy people's heroes. So that's kind of my problem with this.
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
And it goes back to this comment: turning heroes into villains is nihilistic, postmodern poppycock. That's what we do. That's what we do. Mm-hmm. And I just had a comment.
Mainstream
comics. Having grown up watching X-Men only, when it comes to Marvel, I was so used to Wanda being part of the Brotherhood that the MCU felt jarred for a long while. Yes, Wanda's
I've been
part of the
waiting for
Brotherhood.
that shoe to drop.
Yes. I don't worry. He said, "Don't worry, Glenn. I'm black, Latino, and I can't stand the race quotas myself." Yeah. Most people can't. Here's the thing: a lot of people will say, and I know Pedro is one of my CG brothers out there, and I know a lot of people say, "Well, these CG guys, they are chauvinistic. They're bigots. They're anti women in comics. They're anti all this stuff. They're anti LGBTQ." That's just not true. Because there's a whole lot of those things we're supposed to be anti inside of that group.
My point is just to underline it, is that I'm not against any of that. I don't care what anybody does.
Yeah.
But don't change my guy into that. Bring your guy in who's already whatever he is. Yeah,
make a new guy.
Yeah.
Make a new character.
Don't take away mine. Yeah, because mine is mine.
Make them interesting. Here's the thing. Yeah. Many of us here create independent works. A lot of people watching right now create independent works, and guess what? These characters have depth and nuance, and they're interesting, and some of them are people of color, some of them are women, some of them are trans, some of them are LGBTQ. But it's not who they are. It's an aspect of who they are. Yeah. And it's great to have brand new characters that's what they're all about. And I think that's really what we're all saying. The ninja says Wanda is walking, talking philosopher's stone. Yes, she is. And Nick is saying evil like evil, like the fruits from the devil.
I do that on purpose so people don't like. There's that guy's evil, and then there's like evil. There are people in this world who walk up and slit your throat because it's
there are.
And I mean, I'm not. It's not fun, but it's a necessary reality.
Well, there's two songs that I love by two artists I love. Mama just killed a man. Put my gun against his head. Pulled my trigger. Now he's dead. And I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. You know.
Is that great? What's that great? I'm not sure which Batman film it's in, but when Michael Caine says to Christian Bale, he says, "Some people just want to watch the world burn."
Yes.
And that little speech he does there is one of the most powerful things. I don't know what the whole thing is, but the last bit is, like I said, some people just want to see the world burn.
I like it. But here's the thing. When you try to take a bad guy, make him a good guy, like they've done with now the Suicide Squad is a fun comic. The second movie, it wasn't a sequel, it's like a remake, was a lot better than the first one by far. But when you when you look at these villains, they need to, in my opinion, they need to stay villainous. There could be redemptive arcs and stuff like that, but I really dislike when they establish somebody as a hero.
I think that you got to remember that nobody is totally good and nobody's totally evil.
Yeah, you want Wanda to find her kids.
Yeah,
like now you've set it up. You want Wanda to be able to find her kids. You want her to be in love with this robot, which is in and of itself.
No, you don't.
Yeah, that's really weird. But you're like, so
no,
Rihanna says I also
never.
Rihanna says I also never thought there was such a thing as good and evil in the X-Men world, just people with admirable and harmful traits, like real people.
Yeah.
And it was that. There was two, the way, especially Chris Claremont, the way he did it, it was part of the evolutionary thing where these guys and girls and the Brotherhood had a point that regular humans are a threat to our existence, and the humans thought, hey, these mutants are a threat to our existence. And then you had the X-Men who said, look, we've got to try to figure out how to live together, and
Magneto. The horrible thing is Magneto was totally evil, but he was also historically and analytically correct. I don't want to say right, because that implies a morality, but especially from his perspective, that's one of the best written, complex characters of the story of becoming what you most fear.
Yes.
Is Magneto, and that's what we need when we look at if we're going to do a villainous arc that has depth. We need characters like Magneto.
Like what made the villain? I like that. Like there's that making a murderer.
Yeah,
that documentary that was really good.
Just on a sort of a real angle, Oscar Schindler.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We know what happened. He saw an opportunity. And he made a lot of money, and then he realized that it wasn't right.
Yes.
Was he evil? No. He just didn't care. He must have known what was happening. He must have done. He knew what those Nazis were doing. But he saw an opportunity to make a lot of money, didn't he?
It's a case, I think, of it's very easy, as long as it's separate, okay, to think in terms of, well, that's horrible, but until it hits you and if you lack empathy, it takes direct exposure.
Yeah.
And then there's that moment that breaks. That's why, I'm still upset about the kids that were put in cages at the border.
Yeah.
And when it was a political movement in America, they talked about it, but it all went away. But I haven't heard if those kids got out and it's still.
Oh no, the kids are still in the cages.
Yeah, so you see my problem.
And to be honest with you, some of those photos were staged.
Yeah, but you could also argue
make the political argument even worse.
It depends where you draw a line, because those kids in those cages is awful. Anything against kids is just no. But there could be an argument. I'm not saying this is my argument, but there could be an argument for the parents of those kids not to go to that place where they ended up in the cage.
Sure.
If they didn't go there, it wouldn't happen, would it?
Well, to be honest, a lot of those kids ended up in a cage. They were shipped over the border, and they don't have guardians, and so they're in that spot, in that space, temporarily. It's not a permanent fixture for them.
Yeah.
It's so that they can find them some guardianship to take care of them. It's not like they're, trying to abuse these kids.
Yeah, I'm not saying they should be ignored. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just saying that if I'm not going to die on the moon. True. Because I'm not going to go.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: if you if you don't like this problem with the kids in the cages, well, that is caused by immigration issues.
Yeah.
Then that means we need to address immigration issues.
Yes.
And for a long time, our country was completely unified in America on immigration issues. The right and the left both agreed. We need better border control. Yeah. We need a better system for immigration. We all agreed on that. And then all of a sudden, when Donald Trump agreed with what Obama said and what the Republican president of George W. Bush said and what his dad said and what Bill Clinton said. They all said the same thing about immigration. That's not a secret. You can go find all of those videos now. It is well documented. They've all said the exact same thing. Better border control, fix immigration, right?
Yeah.
Donald Trump says it, and the Trump hysteria, the Trump derangement syndrome kicked in.
Yeah.
And then the far left had to disagree.
Mhm.
They had to disagree with this statement. When 4 years prior, 8 years prior, they all agreed
And see,
with this statement.
This, you know how I say every so often, I'm going to offend everybody? I've been talking about disagreeing with this when it was unpopular for somebody who at the time identified as a Democrat to say this is wrong. And that's the problem when you look at me, and it's funny because you could go through my Facebook for a decade, for however long I think I've been on, 10 years, whatever. And you'll see I've said the same thing through all the points. But I would say talking about this thing hits us very differently when it's several thousand miles away.
Yeah.
Many more for Glenn in another country, than it would if we were standing there looking at the kids under space blankets.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want the kids under space blankets. I hate that.
No,
Nobody does.
Nobody does.
The point of my thing, and what was actually delightfully brought up by this Divergent, was how much easier it is when separate from a problem, than it is when you're in it, And when you look at Schindler, I am horrified to this day how the German people were vilified by the actions of the Nazi Party.
Yeah.
And I think when we look back as Americans with a lot of things I've seen, certainly during the Trump administration, certainly during others, we're going to need to look to people like the Germans who've experienced that kind of national failing of morality, and then come back from it for how to handle it historically, how to handle.
Well, I'm gonna contradict you for a second. I don't think kids in cages under space blankets is an issue of morality, because I don't think the people that work that border to protect the border, I don't think they want that either. I don't think anyone in their right mind wants that.
No, I believe that could be handled much, much better. We have the funds to do it.
It's incredibly bad policies that have created that
power
issue.
Who choose not to.
Here's what they do: they use that issue as a political talking point rather than actually doing something about it.
And that's been my problem with both parties.
Those are the villains.
Yes.
For me, in my world,
that's what
I'm going to say. Here's the villain, not the people down at the border, but both sides, okay? Because here's the thing. They keep us separated by Republican and Democrat here in America. I don't know how they do it in your countries there, Mike. And
we have way too many parties.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Those Republicans and Democrats, they do their talking points in front of the camera, and then they leave and they go out to dinner and they use your money to laugh and to drink and to live extravagantly on your dime.
Well,
they don't care about those issues beyond the political argument to the people. That's all they care about. Yeah. So tell me who's the villain. Because they're literally watching the world burn so that they can line their pockets.
Yeah. And that's what bothered me about the American political system, and I guess we're going down that route, but Doom.
There's only
I have seen both I agree with major points of both parties on certain things. Sure. And I have seen the Democrats have the super majority where they could go out and put all the environmental protections that I would love to see, because I don't believe in profit over poison. I just don't care. If it's killing us, it's not worth whatever money it is. That's my policy.
Well, there's a video that I saw that lines up with what you said. This guy said, hey, he asked the guy, he said, if I give you $1 million, what would you say? He's like, I'd be grateful. He goes, well, would you have a bad day? He's like, He goes, no, nothing anybody said could make me have a bad day. You give me $1 million. I said, okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $10 million, but today's your last day. Tomorrow you don't wake up. Would you take it? He goes, of course not. He goes, so you're telling me that waking up tomorrow is worth more than $10 million? He goes, of course it is. He goes, then why don't we live every day like that? And that's the thing. It doesn't matter what the profit is. If it kills you or kills someone else or kills where you live, what's the point in it? And that right there is the villainous act, right?
Right.
And so,
and my thing was the Democrats could have fixed it. Now, I've seen the Republicans have the supermajority. I'm very pro 2A. I don't apologize for it. Now, like any right, I may choose not to exercise it, but I believe in the American system, it needs to exist. Sorry, guys. I know we're getting political.
Yeah.
But
I do want to get some of these comments.
The Republicans have the power and the numbers to say we are driving this home, and it's we can fix this. They say they're behind it, but when they have the power to fix it, they don't, because these are tentpole issues. And if 2 or 3 of these tentpole issues went away, we'd be looking at things like spending and healthcare and
they're there to distract us. They're there to distract us.
They have to keep these fights going.
Yeah. So we've been at this for 2 hours and 17 minutes, and we've maintained a great audience with this whole thing. You guys have been amazing.
Oh yeah.
But it is starting. The audience is starting to wane. So let's get to these comments and we'll wrap things up. Jody McPhee says, "Sigh. I'll save my opinion for later. Glenn is correct. Marvel messed up with certain characters. Marvel in the 60s didn't separate characters like Avengers and X-Men. They didn't do that." And then the Ninja says, "Doom ruled over multiple realities. There is only Doom." Yes, I agree. But by the 70s, Jody McPhee says, that by the 70s and 80s, they did start to cross those over. It says again, Wanda and Pietro went through a redemption arc in early Avengers comics. But in the X-Men comic by the late 70s, they threw that out to keep them villains. They did. And people need to study story arcs. But what do I know? Yeah. You only make comics. And welcome, Charles Santino. Good morning. You've come in towards the end of this, and we got very political here, talking about villains. It's hard not to get political when you're talking about villains.
Yes,
true.
Because the oligarchs up there are the villains, in my opinion.
Yes.
And
international oligarchs. Yes.
This is where confusing comes in. Yes, that I believe what he was talking about with you, the keeping us separated thing. Yeah. And the movie did Avengers 60s redeemable Wanda. They did the redeemable Wanda. Now they made her a good guy, and it looks like they may send her on the X-Men storyline now, which I'm okay with if that's the choice they want to make. But my concern is that now she's become a hero to people that are not familiar with the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s comic books. They're only familiar with the MCU. Because let's be honest, a lot of people say they love X-Men, but they don't love comics. They don't know comics.
A lot of people know X-Men from the 90s cartoon.
Yeah. When a lot of people talk these days about these characters that we know and love, they know them from the movies and the movies only, including Batman. That's all they know. They've never opened a comic book. Yeah. And so this is kind of people's experience with these stories, and so I think that's where that gets a little crazy. And Ninja says, outlaw country music.
Hell no.
I'll disagree with that a little bit. I kind of like it.
I love outlaw country. Let's get some Johnny Cash going in here. I'm sorry. I took that wrong.
Pedro Lang says Captain America, Hulk, and Colossus are my guys. If we go mainstream, they don't need to share my skin color for me to like them. Amen.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, the Hulk is green. I don't care. He's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, but they changed him, didn't they? He was grey to start with because of the printing press.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'll tell you, but I love Darth Vader, and I never cared what color he was under there, or any of that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I thought he looked like James Earl Jones for the first 3. It didn't even occur to me that Luke was kind of pasty. But, they're aliens and stuff. Suspension of disbelief on things like that's a lot easier.
Yep.
Magneto is out for the preservation of his people's existence. Exactly. And that's what makes him a believable villain.
Yes.
Which I like what they did. He's a believable villain. You understand his motivation, but at the end of the day, he is still a villain. Because when I'm reading this comic book, I'm human. I'm not a mutant. Oh, I would love to be a mutant. But if I were a mutant and I had human family, I wouldn't want them to die.
No.
I'd want them to be okay. Yeah. Even though they may reject me, I still don't want them to die. Which is relatable for anyone that, especially back then, I had friends that were homosexual and came out, and their families were not okay with them. But they still loved their family. They didn't want their family to die. They wanted their family to understand, right?
Yeah.
So it made sense in that story arc. That's where Claremont did such a good job, because it dealt with relatable issues. It wasn't political issues that were going on. It was situational issues that we all deal with, and you can see yourself in that situation. And I think that was the best part of the storytelling.
Parable without being parallel.
Yeah, exactly. Brianna says, my favorite villain in fiction, a guy from Dragon Age Inquisition. Spoiler avoid. He made a horrible mistake, and his attempts to fix that mistake cause him to make decisions that grow more horrible. And so I've got an idea for a story, and I don't know if I should talk about it on air or not.
No,
but I had an idea. I had an idea for it today. It's really it's funny and it's good, and I'm going to make a comic about it, and you guys are going to love it, and we're going to laugh. It's going to be a funny comic,
and it's going to make you money.
And it will make me money. People will like this.
I love funny books.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need.
I'm writing a science fiction novel right now, and the ending is so unique. I'm telling you, this has never, ever been done before, and I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's going to be absolutely epic.
It's really hard to say that these days too.
It is, but it's true. It is true.
Brianna says his cause is just, but his methods are awful. But he feels justified. We can understand characters like that. The character digs himself a deeper and deeper hole, and he simply feels like he has no other choice but to be a bastard anymore. He is permanently sad too, which is cool.
So
she apologizes for the spam, but that's fine.
No.
Oh my gosh, jumped again. Okay, politics. I'm out later. Okay. Yeah. All right, Jody. We'll see you later.
I got you on that one.
Hey, if you can't handle the heat and nerd bake in the kitchen, you know where the kitchen door is, my friend.
We talk about anything and everything. We talk about anything and everything. And honestly, I'm a libertarian, so I have very strong opinions about both sides. I think they're all idiots.
It's funny. I lean that way a lot increasingly as I age.
Yeah, Age Zero says
I can sum the political situation and life up in one sentence. Answer me this truthfully. Whatever party you vote for, whatever side you lean to, answer this. When was it ever any good?
Ha!
Yeah.
Because if it was, they'd be in all the time, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When was it ever any good?
Yeah, it's never been any good. But yeah, real talk on Nerd Bacon today. We do that from time to time. We'll have some real talk, won't we? It says, wow, this conversation has turned somewhat grim. Politicians are not very good for all the optimism, are they?
No, but we have to face it. We have to look it square in the face.
You can't just ignore it, can you?
Decide when I create joy, I do so knowingly defiant of the world around.
If you ignore it, you get Berlin in 1934.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. You do have to deal with it, and comics always dealt with it a little bit.
Yeah, it's always
not there. Yeah, not directly like right now we have political agendas getting in comics where they're trying to tell you, hey, you should believe this way or that way. But the situation of political climate affected things, like Captain America punching out Hitler on the cover a month after he appeared on Times Magazine's Man of the Year.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me that's not a statement of some kind. Like, look, this is a bad guy, and you're celebrating this bad guy. So Captain America,
and don't forget that shows you the genius of Kirby and I'm going to say Paul Simon, not Simon Garfunkel, Joe Simon, because that comic came out a year before the United States entered the war.
Yeah, they understood there. The Ninja says it was a time brings us together. Government makes less money that way. Ironic. Yeah, when we're together, they make less money. This stuff, conflict sells. In fact, we see it all the time. If you post something positive on your social media, it doesn't get as many likes or as much sharing as your negative conversation does.
Yeah.
People love that. Like this whole Amber Heard and Johnny Depp thing. People are flocking to that drama. They love it. They just love it. We eat it up, and I don't know why that is. I think it's, who knows?
It's a waste of time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's because
holy crap! I sleep for 90 minutes, and you're still streaming. We are, Dave.
It's because actors,
hours,
not to mention Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, but actors always say they like to play the villain because it's a neatier part. Nobody wants to be the good guy. So it's ironic that one of the best and iconic characters, Batman, is a bad guy, isn't he? He's a vigilante, isn't he? Really, he's the other side of the Joker, isn't he?
Yeah.
But the Joker admits it.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne. Yeah. So.
All right. We've come to the end of our comments. We are at 2 hours and 26 minutes. Wow. I think it's time we go around.
Another short chat.
Another short chat, but a great chat today.
I only came on for 10 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, we've
got working all night now.
Yeah, we've had a great audience the whole time. Thank you, chat, for being here, being a part of the conversation. We appreciate you very much. This show would not be what it is without you. But we want to let you know where you can find all of us. So I'm going to, the little miracle grow on your screen, and when you see your face pop up, you tell the audience where they can find you and what, any last parting words you would like.
I'm a writer, artist, publisher. I'm Glenn Fleming. You can find me on Facebook or email me at comicsunlimitedmagazine@gmail.com. That's the best place. I'm on Twitter and stuff, but I don't go on there a lot. So basically Facebook if you want to see what I'm doing.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you.
You can find me on Linktree, Ferrisonance. I just opted out of In Demand for Love and Korra 5 because I am fulfilling next week. All the boxes.
All that. Nice.
Excellent.
So if you still want a copy, this is the time to get it because within 3 days it's going to be out. So, yeah.
Oh, you done?
This guy.
Was he done? Nice. Were you done?
Yeah,
no,
please.
No, I'm done.
Okay, cool. I'm Nick Tuckert. I created Hybrids, those Sons of Gods, the role-playing game. That the full version is coming out this Christmas.
We're
about this to make sure that Luke doesn't forget.
No, it is not forgotten.
I can be found every Friday night from 8 p.m. till about 9 Eastern on the Historical Fencing Guild channel, where I talk about sword fighting techniques. We talk about fights in movies and practical stuff. It's a good time. Please come out. If you like my energy, it's all that all the time. But I'm also the creator of the Big Stompy Robots line of books and games. And going back to my stuff, hey, I'm keeping everything upright this time. The Simple Sword and the Fighting Axe are both available through Amazon. Now, I know that's a lot of links and a lot of places to find me, so all you have to do is type in www.nicholastuckert, that's my name, at .com, and you'll find all my links in a nice little row and a small gallery of some artwork.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah, my name's Luke Stone. I've been one of your hosts this morning. We've had a great conversation, great time today, and I do appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you again, chat. Thank you for the super chats. We are monetized here on this channel now. Very exciting about that. I guess my career as a YouTuber is taking off, isn't it?
Do it, yes.
And so, yeah, very excited about that, and looking forward to many, many more. So feel free to go by lukestonestudios.com and find all of my links over there. Links to Hybrids to Killing Fields Parts 1 through 3, which has a couple more weeks before it goes in demand. You can get copies of the role-playing game, the quick play. We are going to have a full manual out this year, like Nick said. Very excited about that. So please go by there, check that out. Make sure to go by and like and subscribe at both channels, both Luke Stone Studios on YouTube and the Raging Tube Network over there, and help that grow, because it's an amazing network with amazing people, with amazing content. It's just triple amazing. How can you beat that? So definitely go check that out. And we do appreciate everybody. Have a great day. God bless you. And remember, try to leave the wood pile a little bit higher than you found it.
See you,
and
folks.
With that,
see you, everybody.
I bid you adieu. I do. Bid you adieu. I promise. I promise I do.
Comics are awesome.
I'm going to go out and buy some more.
Okay.
And I think you should too.
I think you should too. See you guys.
You, Bunny.